A very good morning to you. It is the 19th day of November 2025. I wanted to say October. Mwaka naisha jamani. I want to take you guys back, but no, a lot is happening today. It's International Men's Day. Let's start there, because today we are shining the spotlight on the men.
Wish me a happy Men's Day.
I was coming there.
No, because I've blown a can I go plan.
No. I was coming, and in fact the next question was, how are you doing?
I'm doing
on this International Men's Day.
I'm celebrating on so many different fronts.
Yeah?
Yes.
Don't be like Fred. You know, sometimes when you're asked, how are you? Unasema, oh, I'm doing fine. Sometimes you're not even doing fine. Yeah. It's okay to open up. It's okay. You know, that is what this day is standing for.
Okay.
Anyway, it's International Men's Day, as I've said, and it's International...
Did you have to? No. Do you have to go there?
Okay, it's International Journalists Day.
Yes.
Yeah. It's also World Toilet Day. But see, because it's just Men's Day, no, it's actually a day that encourages sanitation around the luni, and it's a time when, you know, there are people who still practice open defecation. So that comes at a very right time. It's Women's Entrepreneurship Day. I said a lot is happening. It's World COPD Day, and yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Good morning. My name is Anne Odida.
And my name is Fred Indimuli. It's also my daughter's birthday. Natalie is turning 15 today. Yeah. I'm very happy.
I was going
Happy birthday, Natalie. Yeah. 42 days left in 2025, 36 days left to Christmas Day. Karibu sana. This is the Morning Cafe. Those who are doing KCSE niliwaambia, many people have already started closing school. Today, it's only 2 days left to the end of the KCSE exams 2025. Today, Geography Paper 2 at 8 a.m. and then later in the afternoon, starting at 2 p.m., Physics Paper 2. Kama ufanye hizo, shika makaratasi na mabegi zako, enda nyumbani. Karibu sana.
All right, let's take a look at the local dailies. Taifa leo, mapenzi mtandaoni sumu.
Nani amesema ni DCI. Chunga sana mapenzi mtandaoni. Slave trade billions, and you can see the trend. Hakuna mambo mengi ati ya siasa, and this is a New York Times expose on the front page of the Standard.
Daily Nation, Gachagua and Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules.
We'll be looking at that on the Daily Nation. On the Star, not politics. Badi team to pay 8 billion shillings for COVID vaccines not delivered.
All right. People Daily, Kenya 2027. Power deals, rising tension, and the fight for key regions.
You're right. A lot more politics coming your way. Matters business, MPs order regulator to increase power prices. Would you imagine that? MPs are saying, yo, pesa ni kidogo, pandisha.
Lakini unajua mimi nasamanga, the president should be the least of our worries.
MPs hapa ndio iko shida.
Anda mambo yote.
Yeah. All right. For State of the Nation, we'll be having two senators, Joe Nyoto, Senator Muranga, and nominated Senator Tabitha Mutinda, alongside Zakaria Baraza, who's a political analyst. Do stand by for this, taking a look at the big headlines. A lot of political headlines. They say Gachagua and Kalonzo are planning to change the 2027 election rules. That coming here at 6:30. Later? Today,
it's International Men's Day, and it's so exciting. The last time I talked about men in this studio, I was told, why is a woman talking about men? Lakini ni mimi ndio niko. And today, if you want to understand men, then join me for this conversation at 8 a.m. I'll be having Keith Tupac. Oh, wow. Right. That is an entrepreneur and founder of iOpener Limited, Derek Vanga, trainer and executive coach. Matu Kihato, he's a founder and CEO of Providence Africa Group, and Amos Ngahu, financial coach, trainer, and author. As you can see, I say they're very capable to hold this conversation.
Oh yes, this is going to be a very interesting conversation about men.
Yes.
Yeah, I've had some of these gentlemen speak on such issues, and yes, this is not a conversation you want to miss.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, tuvuke border. We start off in Uganda. The Daily Monitor, government report finds low trust in public services. They say no confidence. A new UBS report on national governance, peace and security shows overall decline of citizens' trust in public services, but a significant trust rising in public hospital and clinics, while the work of Parliament and the courts of justice indicates only minimal rise in public confidence. Wamefikiwa. Government report finds low trust in public services. Kama tu huku Kenya, we had a similar report sometime in, was it in August or September. NUP member rushed to hospital after vomiting in court. That's another story there on page 6. Living beyond means, government spending overrides revenues. Police exhume Nalia student's body from Kayunga Cemetery. How 529 billion shillings PDM cash will be shared. And on the top strip, Obaid Lutale's family speaks on life without him and why Uganda may not win the HIV and AIDS war by 2030. That story is on page 4. That's the Daily Monitor.
Staying in Uganda, we take a look at the new vision. 529 billion Ugandan money released for PDM SACCOs. They said total disbursements reach 3.2 trillion shillings countrywide. That's Ugandan money. Matters SACCO and funding for the same. And then a lot of prominence given to the ongoing campaigns for the presidency. Museveni holding a rally at Buyende district. Na kama kawaida, half of the page on this newspaper is dedicated to him. A sea of yellow there, kama kawaida. Wale wengine at least leo wameonyesha picha, lakini it's not the presidential candidates. Our MPs. MPs push to win hearts and votes. They're also campaigning ahead of the January elections. But presidential hopefuls, they're firing up supporters as well. Leo hatawajatajwa majina, wamepewa tu sentence moja fupi. That story is on page 6. Yes, beneficiaries speak out on prevention injection matters HIV and AIDS, and you can see that on both the Daily Monitor and the New Vision.
Sasa tuvuke bongo and we start off with gazeti la Mwananchi, tujifunge mkanda. Yaliyotokea Oktoba tarehe 29 yalitia doa taifa la Tanzania na kuliweka shakani kukosa mikopo. Rais Samia awapa tahadhari mawaziri, aeleza mbinu wanazotakiwa kutumia kufanikisha miradi ya maendeleo. Amenukuliwa hapa akisema yaliyotokea nchini kwetu yametutia doa kidogo, kwa hiyo huenda yakatupunguzia sifa ya kupata hiyo mikopo kwa urahisi kama tulivyopata muhula wa kwanza wa awamu hii. Sasa nawaambia Watanzania wajifunge mkanda. Samia wapa zigo la vurugu za Oktoba 29, wadau wanena. Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa 3. Wadau hawa wako hapa mbele, viongozi mbalimbali. MC Pilipili ameuawa kwa kipigo. Habari nyingine katika ukurasa wa 20. Kule juu, kauli ya wewe ni mwanaume jikaze gumzo. International Men's Day.
International Men's Day. Wewe ni mwanaume jikaze bro. Ni iko shida wapi? Kama mwanaume.
Nikikupata unaambia mwanaume hivyo. That's Mwananchi. Gazeti la Mwananchi.
All right, let's take a look at the Citizen and same story there. It's about the cabinet. Samia Suluhu saying why focus should be on domestic resources. Tanzania may need to rely more on domestic resources to finance development projects, as donor funding could be affected by the country's tarnished image. That's an admission by President Samia Suluhu Hassan yesterday. And a picture there of the newly appointed cabinet ministers taking the integrity oath after their swearing in at Chamwino State House in Dodoma yesterday. 27 cabinet ministers in total, 7 new ones, and about 57 assistant ministers. What awaits ministers in these key dockets? So most of the stories in Tanzania are to do with the newly appointed cabinet. Pale chini, Bank of Tanzania rules out selling gold despite record prices. Na pale juu, ex-Chief Justice Othman Chande to chair a team that will investigate breach of peace. That's the Citizen.
And these are the stories making headlines regionally. Tuangalia hali ya anga, and we'll be back to take a look at the local dailies. Tunaanza Kisumu this morning. It's this one is taking its sweet time. Yes. Oh, Homa Bay.
Imeenda Homa Bay. Anyway, there's by-elections in Homa Bay, so why not? Kasipul.
All right. In Homa Bay, it's 19 degrees this morning as we speak. Feels like 25. It's a partly cloudy day, highs of 28 degrees in Homa Bay, and a little bit of precipitation. They say just 10%. Kutoka noon, thereabout, there will be showers.
All right. Go to the Rift Valley. Eldoret is our stop this morning. 14 degrees there. Mostly cloudy day, highs of 24 degrees, which is fair weather. This will continue into the weekend and a bit of warming up next week starting Sunday. But yes, no chance of rain huku, ni kidogo sana. But Let's go to the most central part of the country. Unajua hapa nawasemanga it is the most central part of the country. In fact, if someone was to suggest that the capital moves, it would move here.
To Isiolo?
To that place.
This place is 18 degrees this
Which
morning.
place is this?
Feels like it. It's a partly cloudy.
You're talking about Isiolo.
Yes. Highs of 29 degrees today. No chances of precipitation. It's so hot. And this 29 degrees will persist. Yani hadi next week wanaingia 30 degrees.
Right. Mount Kenya region, Murang'a, 15 degrees this morning. It is a cloudy day. It will get as hot as 26 degrees, which is quite warm for Murang'a. But as from next week, the temperatures go even higher. A bit of precipitation starting at around 10 to about 1 p.m. Kidogo tu, not much. That's Murang'a.
All right. Kilifi, 26 degrees as we speak. Feels like 29, though. It's clear skies with periodic clouds. Highs of 30 degrees expected. And
there could be some rainfall there.
30%. That's a lot.
That's higher than anywhere else. Finally, Nairobi.
Okay.
Yes, the city in the sun. Yes, a bit of sun. Kidogo leo, they say it's going to be mostly cloudy. It's 14 degrees currently. It will get as hot as 26 degrees, especially in the afternoon, starting at 2 p.m. And this kind of temperatures will continue into next week. And yes, just like we've seen the trend elsewhere, it's going to get even warmer next week at highs of 27. But this week, 26 into the weekend. A bit of precipitation, kidogo too, but nothing to worry about. That's Nairobi.
All right. 12 minutes past 6 a.m. Wednesday traffic. You know, Wednesday, the katikati ya wiki, hump day.
It's Men's Day. Tuone kama wanaenda kazi. Hakuna holiday ya watu kukaa nyumbani tuseme ni Wednesday. Yes, so the major highways into the CBD are looking green, just like yesterday. A bit of traffic on Jogoo Road, areas like Makadara, Pale City Stadium roundabout, and a bit of the Landis Road, Pale Mudhurwa, opposite Machakos bus station. But nothing to worry about. Haile Selassie Avenue building up slowly. Pangani Interchange, very slow today. This is unlike the normal. Kidogo sana hapo traffic. Ni kama leo watu waendi kazini mapema sana. If you look at the other side of town, nothing to worry about. Wayakwe is green, and so is Mombasa Road, all the way from the airport into the city center. So the traffic this Wednesday is very friendly.
All right, let's have the quote of the day.
The fear of death follows from the fear of life. A man who lives fully is prepared to die at any time.
Let's come back and take a look at the local dailies in depth. Mapenzi mtandaoni sumu. That is Taifa Leo kulingana na DCI. Na idara ya upelelezi wa jinai imewaonya Wakenya na wageni wanaotafuta mapenzi mtandaoni kufuatia ongezeko la matapeli wanaotumia majukwaa hayo kusaka wachumba na kuwapora pesa na mali zao.
Tulifika hapa namna gani? Tulifika hapa aje?
Habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili wa gazeti hili wanasema makachero waonya wahalifu wanateka hisia za wanaotafuta mapenzi kabla ya kuwapora na hata kuwadhuru.
Sababu sasa kila kitu mnafikiria ni rahisi. You don't want to leave your house, you just want to get everything online. Utapatikana, chunga sana, mapenzi mtandaoni ni sumu.
Mtandao gani? Lakini habari kamili katika ukurasa wa pili. I'm going to read about it too. Vidokezo zaidi, pressure kwa Ruto kuhusu sheria mpya. Shinikizo zaendelea kwa Rais Ruto kuhusu sheria ya matumizi ya kompyuta. Kalonzo na Kingi wajibwaga magarini. Huyu ni Emerson Kingi na Kalonzo Musyoka hatimaye wamejisota kampeni za uchaguzi mdogo magarini. UN yaunga ushauri wa Trump Gaza. Yaunga kutumika kwa majeshi ya kimataifa kudumisha usalama kule Gaza. Na kule juu gavana hatarini kutemwa. MCAs Nyamira watajaribu tena kumng'oa gavana Amos Nyaribo. Na Italia yalaani FIFA kwa kutofuzu. Kocha asema mfumo wa timu moja kila kundi kufuzu kwa finali dhalimo mno.
Italia iko nje. Bure kabisa.
Unajua kuna story fulani imenikumbusha, there's a lawyer, prominent lawyer, who was one time alipatikana na fraud ya catfish.
Unazungumzia hii sumu.
No, I'm telling you another story. I think imenikumbusha mbali. So videos of that guy zikakuja juzi. I think he was going through something and then those videos resurfaced. It was ugly.
Oh, unfortunate. The Standard, a damning report published by the New York Times, is there on the front page of the Standard. Slave trade billions. They call it dirty money. Kenya's labor migration boom has morphed into a political gold mine. Now, this is the intertwining of politics and labor migration. For the country's most vulnerable women, it has become a conveyor belt of abuse, betrayal, and state-enabled exploitation. An investigation reveals how President William Ruto's government, instead of protecting domestic workers brutalized in Saudi Arabia, has aligned itself with a lucrative sturfing industry, rife with political ownership, conflicts of interest, and gutted worker safeguards, with the first family's insurance firm at the heart of the business. Hapo ndio story iko. Iko kwenye ukurasa wa mbele wa gazeti la Standard. Musiniangalie vibaya. The story is on page 8 and 9. This is what they're saying. That 1 in 10, I look at the numbers. 1 in 10 Kenyan staffing companies are owned by a current or former political figure, likely an undercount due to concealed ownership. 130,000 shillings is the amount recruiters earn per worker sent to Saudi Arabia, but spend only $200 or 26,000 shillings to meet training requirements. Kenyan domestic workers in Saudi Arabia earn about 31,000 shillings monthly, unchanged for 7 years, and far below the 52,000 shillings earned by Filipino workers in the same country. So Kenyans in Saudi Arabia earn lower than other people. 260 million shillings, this is the amount that one politically connected agency, Forbes Global Agencies, it advertised 2,100 Saudi jobs in October alone, and that was a whole worth 260 million shillings in recruiter revenue. People are cashing in on this one. And this is an expose published by the New York Times. So the Standard is just carrying it as is. The story continues there on page 5. Kenyans abroad face harsh justice, foreigners escape. Na hiyo story inaendelea a lot. Hapo ni kama story itakuwa. But the main story is on page 8 and 9. They say Kenyan women get abused abroad, but Ruto family and allies profit. Me, I'm just reading the headline as it is. Mniangalia ni kama I've not created anything. On the back page of this paper, matter of sports, Wangari adds to Kenya's medal tally and eyes more Deaflympics glory. There's a Sarah Wangari Kimani, rejuvenated and focused to make it to the podium in the women's 5,000 meters and the marathon categories at the ongoing Tokyo 2025 Summer Deaflympics in Japan. Right. So that's the Standard.
All right, Kisonga Mbele, Daily Nation, Gachagua-Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules. And they say leveling the playing field. A coalition of opposition leaders led by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Wiper boss Kalonzo Musyoka has filed a high-stakes constitutional petition seeking to overhaul how presidential election votes are tallied and how results are transmitted and declared. The politicians also want the Electoral Commission to gazette all polling stations 6 months before the elections. And the story is on page 4 and 5. They say petitioners accuse IEBC of multiple violations through its centralized handling of presidential results. Some of the proposals: IEBC must gazette all polling stations at least 6 months before elections to curb ghost stations and ensure transparency. IEBC must publish and avail the final voter register 3 months before elections to allow scrutiny and prevent irregularities. IEBC be prohibited from retallying or altering presidential results at the National Tallying Center after constituency declarations. 4, IEBC must reconcile all ballots used, spoiled, and used at polling stations before transmitting results to prevent discrepancies. And 5, IEBC to design a results transmission system where constituency declarations are final and reconciliation precedes electronic result submissions. Key proposals by former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and Wiper boss Kalonzo Musyoka.
This ideally should be the case. In fact, according to the Constitution, it's the final results are the polling station. The tallying center at IEBC has no role apart from announcing the final presidential result. But anyway, interesting.
Story on page 4 and 5. Cybercrimes law is defective, state agency tells Ruto, and the pressure is mounting on President William Ruto to reconsider continuous provisions of the controversial Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights termed the new law legally defective and an affront to the freedom of expression and the right to privacy. Matters transport here as well. You'll now pay higher fares as digital taxi drivers get the nod to effect new rates. And this is so important. Sababu unajua Uber wamekwanga wakistrike sana. Uber, Bolt, nini. And this newspaper is saying digital taxi app owners told to align their rates with the pricing advisory the Automobile Association of Kenya AAK issued in 2023 within a week. OU versus Sosion, fresh battle for KNUT amid ex-boss eligibility question. And Mr. Sosion, who resigned in 2021 citing intense government frustration, says he's under immense pressure from teachers to contest. That online lover could be plotting to steal from you. This story is on page 3. We talked about it on the front page of the Taifa Leo, and it's a feature. They say a few weeks ago, British national in the coastal city of Mombasa lost a whopping 800,000 shillings to online dating fraudsters, with the DCI now warning Kenyans to be aware of such schemes. 800,000.
Chunga sana. Unapeana pesa sana nyinyi.
On the back page. Okay. Kenya's medal tally rises as more expected today. 2025 Summer Olympics date to give handsome rewards to medalists. At a glance, Kenya's fixtures for Wednesday Kenyan time: men's 400 meters final at 9:15 a.m. this morning, women's 1500 meters final 9:30 a.m. and men's 1500 meters final 9:45 a.m. That's the Daily Nation.
Yes, there's a story that we skipped on the back page of the Standard, but it's also there on the back page of the Daily Nation. It's about the upcoming World Cup, which will be hosted in 3 countries. That's Mexico, the US, and Canada next year. And now they have, Trump and FIFA have agreed to make process of getting visas for the World Cup easy. So if you're traveling for the World Cup, this could be your chance to get a visa, because the process will be much easier than usual. Unajua sasa kupata visa ya kwenda US na wapendi watu wenye wanatoka masehemu kama hii yetu. So probably if you're looking to travel with the World Cup, I think you might get a chance.
All right.
Yes. From the Daily Nation, we take a look at the Star. Mbadi team to pay 8 billion shillings for COVID vaccines not delivered. This story is on pages 4 and 5. Now we're back to issues around COVID. Consignment was destroyed in a European warehouse. Unajua watu siku hizi wanasema COVID vaccine ni mambo ingine. So taxpayers are set to shoulder an 8.2 billion shilling bill for COVID-19 vaccines that were never delivered and were later destroyed in a European warehouse without proper oversight from government officials. This is according to a new audit acknowledging the liability by writing a letter proposing the modality of settling the debt owed to the Belgian supplier. So the vaccines never came, but we have no option but to pay. Other stories given prominence, of course, United Opposition splits forces in by-election fight with president. Kuna wale wameenda Magarini kama Kalonzo Musyoka, kuna wale wabaki Mbere kama Rigathi Gachagua, na kuna wale wameenda Malava kama Malala, Cleo, wamesplit. And then hapa chini kuna picha Kindiki and Gachagua lock horns in Mbere North by election, wanaenda door to door. That's how serious this thing is. Ni wamekampu, unasikia wamepiga kambi kule Mbere. Wanamke hivi unapata watu kwa gate wako hapa wanakuambia tumekujia chai, utatupigia mtu wetu kura. It's interesting. That's the Star. Fresh, independent, different. For 60 bob, you get yourself a copy of this one.
All right. People Daily, Kenya 2027, power deals, rising tension and the fight for key regions. Battle lines, they call it, the Rift Valley region, UDA, opposition in Eastern, UDA still in Northeastern. Western is a battleground for ODM, that is in Nyanza, except the Gusii region. Oh. Nairobi, pia battleground, Coast still a battleground, and opposition in Central.
The Star did the same yesterday on the front page. They actually did an analysis of which counties will go to President Ruto, which counties will go to the combination that's called United Opposition. I think it's the same thing on the front page of the People Daily. A lot of criticism towards that front page of the Star yesterday. So I don't know what people think about this. Do you agree that those families secured in Rift Valley, of course, in Endapi, except Nakuru, ODM regions except Coast, parts of Western, hizo ziko family secured. By who? Key battlegrounds, Nairobi, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Lamu, Taita Taveta. Iyo place unaendaga. Na Marsabit. Interesting there, very interesting.
On the top strip, why Uhuru's return is giving UDA and Gachagua sleepless nights ahead of next polls. That's the People Daily, yes. People in Politics.
Matters politics there. Business, MPs order regulator to increase power prices. Mbona, Kenyans face steep electricity bills in the wake of a push by Parliament to have consumers pay higher charges to enable Kenya Power to recover billions of shillings spent on the rural electrification projects. So ni pesa inatafutwa. Ulifikiria mtalipia hiyo bill? Watalipa. New charge to help recover rural electrification debt. EPRA Chief Executive terms directive unfair to consumers. Lakini MPs wale mlichagua na mkasema wataenda kuwasaidia kule bunge, hao ndio representatives wetu. Hao ndio wamesema muongeze ile mnalipa stima. Hata EPRA inasema hapana, that's unfair, lakini MPs walipe, kwani wanafikiria nani atalipa. Cheza na MPs. Counties with best and worst uptake of insurance, that's an analysis there. And you issue a digital taxi drivers protesting unfair prices. Nasikia sasa wamepewa go ahead, they will be able to increase the prices. On the ticker, reprieve for Nairobi Hospital in 208 million shilling row with ex-CEO. Kenya Power's Women Youth Tender Awards jump to 3.5 billion. Where? So Kenya Power awarded contracts value 3.5 billion shillings to the youth and women as well as disabled persons in the year 2025. Interesting. CBK under pressure to hold more dollars on rising imports is another story there on the Business Daily.
All right.
Once again, a reminder that we'll be having Senators Joe Nyoto and Tabitha Mutinda in studio for State of the Nation alongside political commentator Zakaria Barasa. Do stand by for that conversation. Very interesting headlines, especially to do with the upcoming by-elections in 8 days' time. Yeah.
All right. Today is International Men's Day once again, and I'll be having these gentlemen, very able gentlemen, to have that conversation with Keith Tupac, Derek Banga, Matuki Hato, and Amos Ngao. Coming your way, 8 a.m., tuangalie caricature.
Wachoraji wanazungumzia nini? The Standard cartoon talks about the same thing. This one is a Mbeere North contest. UDA upande moja, United Opposition upande mwingine. Hizi ndio colors za United Opposition, blue na red. Anyway, wanacheza kandanda pale Mbeere. Kuna firimbi pale, kuna firingi, mtu anapiga firingi.
The Star bado pale pale Mbeere will beat you hands down. Kuna mtu anasikiza ground pale na kuna wengine washaibuka washindi. Hii
imekuwa competition between Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua. Hata ukiuliza watu candidates wa Mbeere North ni nani? Hata washasahau hiyo story.
Sema Gachagua na Kindiki.
Gachagua na Kindiki. It's the same story there on the cartoon on the Daily Nation, Mbeere by-election. You know, we might actually forget that there are 23 by-elections. We're just talking about Mbeere North. Mbeere North, because you Mbeere North uli mwenye atashinda. Hata akiluze zingine, atafeel ni kama endo ameshinda elections ya 2027. So here, kuna jamaa, uli jamaa wa Mlima. Amesimama hapa, yeye ndio Getman pale ya Mbeere North by election. Amefunga kafuli kama 7 hivi. Lakini pale juu there's a lady there riding a wheelbarrow na kuna jamaa amekaa pale juu. But they are riding on a very tight rope heading to the mountain. So you see 3 cartoons talking about Mbeere North by election. Yes.
That's the Daily Nation. Finally, People Daily. This is gross. Our very own police helicopters, like they're painted like coffins.
Yes, there was an analysis earlier this week. Walikuwa nasema hizi choppers zenye watu wanapenda sana. But this particularly belonging to the police department. Zinakuanga na shida sana. And it takes me back to a few years back when former Vice President George Saitoti and Orwa Ojode perished in one of those police choppers. So yes, that's the one. I think this is the only cartoon that's not talked about Mbere North. All
right. These are the stories making headlines in locally and regionally, but interact with us on our socials, TV47 Kenya on Facebook and on YouTube, on X, TV47 Digital. My handle on X is at @Ann_Dida. The hashtag is Morning Cafe TV47.
My handle on X is at Fred Indimuli. See you after the break.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Oma every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach only on TV47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gas. Betty, I don't know where this guy's going.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Theological, meteorologist. What is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Farika tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Farika is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Ani wewe furahia umekaa na kasukuru. CP unit ni Punet.
So you guys knew about
Piga.
Sawa basi. Sema, that don't give you the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You'll have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m.
Next time you need fresh lemon juice, microwave a lemon for 7 to 10 seconds. Then roll the lemon back and forth under your palm on the counter. When you squeeze, you'll get more juice from the lemon with way less effort.
Start your day with Relationship Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. with Ann Odida. Dive deep into the dynamics of love, friendship, and family as we explore the stories that shape our connections. Then satisfy your appetite with Tasty Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. where Anne serves up delicious recipes, cooking tips, and the latest food trends to inspire your next meal. Relationship Wednesday and Tasty Wednesday every Wednesday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. only on Morning Cafe.
Your nose alone won't always tell you if your eggs have gone bad. To find out, gently place uncooked eggs in a bowl of cold water. If an egg sinks to the bottom, it's A-OK. If it floats, it's seen better days.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings.
Bear North has become symbolic, and I think mainly because of the supposed leaders of that area who are both supposed to be heavyweights.
Ni fire si fire, ni noma si noma.
Sasa mimi nimekuja tuliagana na nyinyi. Mkule pesa ya Kasongo. Mkule ya Soprano. Mkule ya Karinda. Mkule ya Roko. Lakini kura yote ni ya Newton. Harambe!
And the contest is not so much Kindiki with Rigathi Gachagua. They're just joyriding in a nice area. There is Justin Muturi, who used to be, before he was dismissed by Ruto, he was the Embu heavyweight, or one of the heavyweights, and replaced by somebody, Roko, who would like to be a heavyweight.
It's about the people of Mary North getting the right leadership, which is going to give them the much-needed transformative project. It's not about UDA, it's not about a mass from government, it's about the urgency which the people of Mary North needs for them to move to the next level.
Sasa kurudi kutuambia hapa utatetea kijana atinaita Muthende. Muthende ana kura ya mbere. Bibi yake ana kura hapa. Tuye tukaka kumudhura?
Leo Muthende achaguliwe, niende bunge, nitetee maendeleo, nisimame na viongozi wengine wanapenda amani, ndio Kenya yetu iende mbele.
So it's mostly a rivalry between Muturi and Roko. Roko trying to prove himself as the new player that was put there by Ruto. And so Roko is Ruto's man. And voting for Roko is voting for Ruto. Now, voting against Roko is voting against Ruto by the same extension.
Umuthi ni twanyita ripoti ya mibango ikuru cio guku mbere north kuria tukoretwe na by elections ya MP na ciumia inya iria twikite campaign guku mbere no tutiana korwa na mbara na iriku gatakati ka wapinzani tukoretwe siasa ikithii na mbere wega wathi matura ari ukariria andu no kenuka dianegwa ngadi ninge ne thiga dianegwa undu nae uriku musuku kana uthiite na mbere.
Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Good morning once again. Mbeere North by-elections dominating the news this morning. It's exactly 8 days to the next by-elections, which will be next Thursday, 27th of November. But very little talk about the by-elections campaigns elsewhere. Remember, 23 by-elections in total across the country, 6 parliamentary by-elections in Baringo, Mbeere North, Magarini, Malava, Banisa, Kasipul, and elsewhere. But it would appear Mbeere North, and even just a look at the cartoons this morning, 3 of them focusing on the battle in Mbeere North. It would appear it's worth everything else but the local leaders. Allow me to welcome my panelists this morning. Zakaria Baraza, political commentator, joins us. Karibu sana, Zakaria. Good to have you in studio. And Senator Tabitha Mutinda. Good morning, karibu sana.
Morning.
It is a busy week politically. I know you're very much involved in the by-elections in Malava, but the focus appears to be elsewhere. Everyone is talking about Mbeere North, and it would appear that all forces there are putting nothing to chance, are leaving nothing to chance in as far as that contest is concerned. Why is Mbeere North the biggest contest and not these others?
To me, I think both contests are important. If you look at, like this Friday, the entire united opposition will be in Malava. But the reason why we have Mbeere North, why there's so much focus in Mbeere North is because of the deputy president interest. The reason being, initially the president tried to divide Mount Kenya, whereby he was saying we have Mount Kenya West and Mount Kenya West. So if the government wins the Mbeere North, then it means Gachagua's influence in Mount Kenya will not be that much. But if it loses, then it means Gachagua's influence it would have taken over Mount Kenya. But also in Western Kenya, there's a lot of interest, although it's not being reported as much. Because if you look at the president's aide, Farouk Kibet, he's been camping there, always by 6 is up to around 6 in the evening. So there's much interest in Malava and Mbeere, not only Mbeere, Malava and Mbeere, there's a lot of interest because if they lose Malava, then it means they're going to lose the Luhya vote. And if they lose Mbeere, then they're going to lose the Mount Kenya vote.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is said that it's more about the 2027 contest and not even about the election of local leaders there. If you talk to anyone, we know about Rigathi Gachagua and Professor Kithure Kindiki when it comes to the Mbeere North contest, more than even the candidates who are running for MP there. Isn't it true that, yes, this is more than just a local by-election?
Thank you for having us this great morning. This is the normal political procedure. We've seen also when we are doing our national politics, even the presidential candidates are on the ground, not only campaigning for themselves, but also campaigning for the other candidates in the different regions. The Mbeere context and where we are seeing the deputy president and the former deputy president, it's normal for the leaders to be able to support their candidates affiliated with their political parties. There is nothing so strange. There's nothing out of this world.
Why are we not talking about Malava or Magarini, for example, in the same, with the same weight?
They're still going to go around, you know, they're still going to go and visit, campaign for all these other candidates in the other different regions. It's only that all eyes have narrowed to Malava and narrowed to Mbere, because that's where the party leaders, you know, of course, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is there, and the current Deputy President is also there. So all eyes definitely, by default, would definitely be there. When Farouk is in Malava, same case, all eyes would definitely be there. But what are they doing? They're just doing the normal campaign procedures, the same way you campaign for your interested person, you know.
There are those who argue that all parties, they would rather lose any other by-election but not the Mbere North, because probably that, in as far as perception is concerned for 2027, if you lose Mbere North, you're out.
Mbere North is just one among the many constituencies within Mount Kenya that we have. It's not the end goal. It's not the end result of anything. It's a normal political process like any other. We have, over, almost 5 counties within the Mount Kenya region. So one constituency would not really be the final in terms of determining the way forward. And as we've seen clearly, the ground is, the people are able to resonate with their leaders the way they want. They are free. There's democracy in this country. And there's nothing wrong with people affiliating to this particular candidate or this particular candidate. It's normal. It's a normal political procedure, and that's democracy and all that. And I wish the people of Mbere the very best to be able to ensure that they look at Leonard Muriuki from a leadership perspective point. Other issues aside, you know, but be able to look at that.
That's the UDA candidate.
That's our UDA candidate.
We've never mentioned that name here, incidentally.
Maybe because you've never asked, but Leonard Muriuki is our candidate for UDA, and I would really request humbly the people of Mbere North to be able to have a keen look of this gentleman in terms of the leadership that he would be looking forward to offer the great people of Mbere. The great people of Mbere North have produced a cabinet secretary. That is a region with very great people, and I'm sure they're going to really still make the best choice.
Okay, allow me to welcome Senator Joe Nyoto, Senator Murang'a County, to this conversation. Karibu sana, Senator. It's good to have you on the show. We're focusing on the by-elections, which will be held next week on Thursday, but it would appear there's a lot of focus on the Mbere North contest. And the concern is that the influence that comes from outside, mainly national level leaders on the contest in Mbere North, is more about national politics more than electing a local leader. That it's more about the contest between Rigathi Gachagua and Professor Kithure Kindiki, and not really the candidate that Senator Mutinda has mentioned, or the other one for the Democratic Party. Do you agree that there's too much influence from national politics that could end up denying even the local voters a chance to elect a leader of their choice?
Thank you, Fred, and good morning to you. I think I partly agree with that particular thinking, that the by-election in Mbere is actually not about the candidates. It's not about Karis and Mudende in the first place. And why I say this, Fred, is because, you know, when President Ruto decided to impeach Rigathi Gachagua, one of the things that he decided to do in his very evil, mechanisms and, you know, schemes, he decided to divide Mount Kenya into 2. Mount Kenya East, Mount Kenya West. And you are aware that Honorable Roko then read a statement at a hotel in Embu called Isaac Walton, or something like that, where they said that they were breaking away as Mount Kenya East, and they referred to Embu, Tharaka Nithi, and Meru counties as Mount Kenya East. And that they were breaking away and going forward, that their leader was going to be Kithure Kindiki. That time, Kithure Kindiki was the Interior Cabinet Secretary. And so what is there is that the scheme to impeach Rigathi Gachagua was hatched several months before it actually happened. And Kindiki was actually tipped even then to be the one that was going to succeed Rigathi Gachagua. And so William Ruto wanted to divide Mount Kenya into Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West. And now, the Mbeere North by-election has provided the perfect opportunity for Ruto to prove that whether or not he succeeded in dividing Mount Kenya into East and West. And that is why there is that kind of interest in the Mbeere North by-election. And you know, I have had my sister and friend and colleague, Senator Tabitha, of course, because she's in UDA and supports government, say that people should elect Modende, that's a UDA candidate, because of leadership. This is somebody who actually did not even vote there last time. In fact, if he has a vote from Mbeere North, it must have been, I have not been able to establish, but he may not have gotten it before this year. Maybe he just got it, transferred his vote. I don't know, but he did not vote there during the last.
But that's not a requirement that you have must have voted.
I'm just saying that he voted in Kilifi, and so sometimes we also like looking at the interests of a candidate. And I have nothing. I mean, you have nothing against candidate Modende of UDA, because we know it's not about him. What I'm finding very interesting, actually, is the way UDA is conducting its campaigns. That they are waiting, especially since Sunday, when Rigathi Gachagua moved in, they are waiting for Rigathi Gachagua to mobilize crowds. And then once they are done, and I was there on Sunday, once we are done with the rally, now they come, because they cannot mobilize anybody unless they pay them. The other thing that is very interesting is watching the Deputy President, Kindiki. You know, the plagiarism that he has exhibited since Sunday is pitiable, because I have a lot of respect for Kindiki. But you can see a man who is, doesn't have an agenda. He waits to hear what Rigathi Gachagua says. He repeats the same. So Rigathi Gachagua says, I'm here, I have come. I'll leave Mbeere North on 28th. Kindiki comes, says, I have come. I'll leave Mbeere North on day 28th. Then Rigathi Gachagua starts, door-to-door campaigns, visiting, homesteads, sharing meals with them. Kindiki does the same. When you look at this, you are left wondering, surely, is Kindiki doing this because he really believes in it, or because his boss, President Ruto, is telling him, if Rigathi Gachagua can stay there up to 28th, you must also do that. If Rigathi Gachagua is doing some visits to, is visiting homesteads, you must do that. So it's pitiable. But generally, to answer your question, yes, it's beyond Modende and Karis. It's about, it's a battle of titans, and it's about the political, heavyweights and the two political sides.
Yes.
Rigathi Gachagua on one side, and William Ruto and Kindiki on the other side.
Because it would appear, Bwana Zakaria, that it's about everyone else apart from Mbeere North. It's about everyone else apart from the voters and the candidates in Mbeere North. It's about the Deputy President. It's about Rigathi's own survival as a kingpin of Mount Kenya, as the self-declared kingpin of Mount Kenya. It's about C.S. Ruku's position. It's about William Ruto's position as head of UDA. This, in a way, could deny the local voter an opportunity to vote for a leader of their choice, because everyone else thinks that their own influence is more important than what the local mwananchi should do. Do you feel the same happening in Malava?
Yes, because if you look at what is happening in Malava, it's because the government has a lot of interest. Because for the last, I think, 2-3 months, Farouk Kibet has been there every morning, combing each and every village, trying to influence people so they can vote in a certain direction. So you'll discover that, you see, with the influence of money, people may not be able to vote freely, because right now, if you look at what is there, is about the interest of the government. If you look at how Dani's campaigning is about government projects and review, so they want to use government projects to influence the voting of the people in Malava. But I can assure you, the opposition has been there. They have been able to talk to people. The voting may go against the government. The reason being, I've seen government trying to use those projects in many, many by-elections, but they have never succeeded. And I believe this time, the people of Western Kenya, they have made a choice. Now they want to be independent. They want to vote as a community, as a region, so that in future they may have a stake in the government. And like what they did last time, the government promised them so many things, but they were not even able to deliver a single project in Western Kenya.
But isn't it also true that if at all the united opposition candidate there, in this case the DAP-K candidate, loses, then that would hit the opposition a good one, that it would mean that UDA has a greater influence there. And that is also very decisive enough as perceptions are concerned.
Yes, it's true. If UDA wins, it will have a big impact on the opposition. But we believe the opposition should be able to carry the day. Yeah.
All right. Senator Mutinda, do you agree that yes, the voters this time around, it has nothing to do with them? The by-elections next week are more about 2027 and the bigger contest at the national level?
You know, Fred, I don't know why sometimes we want to look at the other side of the coin so differently. As politicians, when we are doing campaigns, it's really a privilege, you know, to be able to get your party leader to be with you on the ground. There's nothing wrong with Rigathi being on the ground and campaigning for his candidate, as well as nothing wrong with the Deputy President, Professor Kindiki, being on the ground and campaigning for our candidate. There's nothing wrong. Extremely speaking, there's nothing wrong. When we were doing 2022 elections, and our presidential candidate then, Dr. William Ruto, moved across the whole country. And for example, if he went to, case example, Murang'a County, case example, he had his candidates. He had the senator of Murang'a, John Yutu, as his candidate for UDA, and he campaigned for him. There's nothing wrong with that. As well as then, the opposition was campaigning for their own candidates then. So what is happening currently in terms of the campaigns that are going on, there is nothing wrong. When we are doing campaigns, definitely, it's different. You go to the ground, you go to the people. You know, what we call in Kiswahili, unaenda mashinani. You go deep and meet the people and engage with them. That is campaign. There is nothing wrong. Let me finish, Fred.
Is there a consequence that would come with a loss in Mbeere North? For example, for Professor Kithure Kindiki,
yes.
If he does not deliver Mbeere North,
yes.
What does it mean for him?
Of course, nobody's intention is to lose. Anybody who loses, either this side or this side, of course, you'll feel the loss, definitely. Which consequences?
I'm asking, will there be consequences for Professor Kithure Kindiki if he fails to deliver?
Professor Kindiki, Fred, is not the candidate. Leonard Muriuki is our candidate, okay? So Professor Kindiki is not the candidate for Mbeere North. But as our party, deputy party leader from where he sits, he has nothing wrong, or he has done nothing wrong by going to the ground and supporting this guy. I want to differentiate that. There is nothing wrong in terms of those campaign strategies. When we hear that, oh, this one is going to the shop, this is good, those are the same strategies across that we always do. There's no big
but when
deal
it comes to
across.
The consequences,
it's like saying, let me finish this, Fred. It's like saying, oh, Senator Mutinda has gone to TV47 driving her car, and so Senator Nyutu, you know, has copied her. I mean, that's nothing to even actually discuss. There's nothing wrong in terms of them being there and doing the campaigns. What is important we should be focusing on for the people of Mbeere North is for them to be able to be given an opportunity to help to understand their candidate better and be able to know that this candidate is the candidate who's going to, you know, deliver.
There's been a lot of talk about the position of Deputy President.
Yes.
And who is a possible running mate for President William Ruto.
What do you mean possible?
Possible
he is the Deputy President of this country. Is he the
running mate for President William Ruto?
Yes, he is the candidate.
The running mate?
He is the running mate.
Even if he doesn't deliver...
that is not the benchmark. That is not the benchmark. And the discussion here from Mbeere North is the candidate, Muriuki. The focus should be on Muriuki. Yes. And I'm confident we are going to deliver that seat. I'm confident because the people of Mbeere have been able to engage with their local leaders and be able to see the values that they're looking for in terms of a leader. They are the same people who elected Honorable Ruku to represent them as their member of parliament.
If you look at the cartoons today,
yes,
on the Star, on the Daily Nation, and on the Standard, they all talk about Mbeere North.
Yes.
And they all pit Rigathi Gachagua against Professor Kithure Kindiki. It would appear it is a battle of the deputies. And that's why I'm asking this question, Senator Nyoto.
Let me finish
Do you feel
on that,
he will
Fred?
survive, Professor Kithure Kindiki? I'll come back to you, Senator. Do you feel Senator Kithure Kindiki will survive and continue being probably the best positioned running mate for President William Ruto if he doesn't deliver Mbere North?
Thank you, Fred. And you know, Senator Tabitha is a very good debater. But with this particular one, I can see her conveniently, you know, escaping from that question. Because the fact is, and I started by saying that there's a narrative of Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West. And I referred you to a meeting that was held at Isaac Walton Hotel before Rigathi Gachagua was impeached, where the members of parliament from those three counties declared and announced that their leader going forward was going to be Kithure Kindiki. Now, if Kithure Kindiki does not deliver the Mbere North seat, then the narrative of Mount Kenya East and West comes tumbling down. So it will have been proven, and that is exactly why we are so much interested as people who support Rigathi Gachagua and DCP. We will have proved, the people of Mbere North will have proved that Mount Kenya is one. Because, Fred, Mount Kenya is one. The narrative of Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West is a narrative brought by William Ruto to employ a very old tactic called divide and rule. So now, if Kindiki does not deliver Mount Kenya East, Mbere North, so there is no Mount Kenya East, and he is not king then of Mount Kenya East, because Mount Kenya East is non-existent. Mount Kenya is one, and the king is Rigiji. Those are the consequences. And therefore, he will not earn the running mate position for William Ruto in 2027. And anyway, and I've said it here many times and elsewhere, Kithure Kindiki either way will not be, and you can archive this, Fred, Kithure Kindiki will not be picked by William Ruto as a running mate either way.
Even if he delivers.
Either way, even if he delivers this, and he's not going to deliver, I can tell you. But even if he delivered this, those, and you have seen the furor that was caused by Senator Cheralgei's statement that Kithure Kindiki will be retained as running mate. ODM was up in arms because ODM, and no other than the party leader, Senator Odinga, our colleague, has said that they are not going to go for anything less than running mate position. So I'm telling you, either way, Kithure Kindiki will be sacrificed and will not be running mate in 2027. But if he was able, because he would, if he was able to deliver this seat, then probably he would enhance his chances, not of being deputy president, but of being something else, because that one can never happen. But allow me, before I quit, to say that Senator Tabitha has trivialized my point of that Kithure Kindiki is engaging in plagiarism by comparing it to her driving here and my having driven here. You see, there is no other way that you get here. You have to drive here or be driven here. But for a campaign, you can have your strategy. You cannot allow or just leave your competitor to set the agenda for you, and then in an embarrassing way, you copy everything. You know, you can copy something here and there and maybe twist it to look original. But now, the issue of Kithure Kindiki's plagiarism cannot be compared to both Senator Tabitha and I driving here. His plagiarism is at an embarrassing level.
Senator Tabitha, I cut you short previously. You want to continue with what you're saying?
Yes, and you're really cutting me short, Fred.
No, because you're avoiding my question.
No, I'm not avoiding any question. I'm just here. And I'm one person who's very principled in my opinion. If it is red, I'll say it's red. It's blue, I'll say it's my opinion. at the end of the day. You understand? And, you know, I'm laughing because, you know, honestly speaking, that's how we just do campaigns. Either you stand on top of a tree and talk to the people, either you go clean the sewer and talk. I mean, you cannot start saying, I find it too low to start trying to say that this person has gone to the hotel, even our person has gone to the hotel. This person has done this, even our person. I mean, it's from where I sit in my level, I don't want even to engage on that kind of standard, to be very honest, because that's how we do campaigns, you know. I mean, it's not a big deal. What is important from where I sit is more of the candidate. Did we choose an appropriate candidate for the people of Mbeere? It is not Professor Kindiki who's going to be, delivering for the people of Mbeere. It is that particular member of parliament who's going to be elected to represent them. That is where the understandability should be. In terms of trying to push the conversations of that Professor will not be our running mate come 2027, I mean, how do you speak of another man's bedroom? And that's not your room. And I'm speaking like that because, you see, my brother, my colleague senator, knew to say that I am supporting you, the candidate, because I'm from that party. Then I asked myself, which party has made him be in this 13th parliament, if not the United Democratic Alliance today, as we speak? It's okay, no problem. They have moved out. They are now with DCP. But why is he not confident enough, bold enough, strong enough to say, I am resigning from this party? I am even ready for a by-election in my county of Murang'a, so that the narrative of trying to indicate that now the power of who is the kingpin, you know, in either Mount Kenya East, South, West, and all that will be able to be identified. That is where the masculine should be tabled on. We should not actually be looking at this seat and talking about, where is William Ruto coming in? He's the President of the Republic of Kenya. The two party leaders who are on the ground are actually been at the level of the deputy. One is former, one is current. So even where is he coming, from? When we keep on repeating this issue of impeachment for so long, look at where we are. We are doing by-elections today. Not one, not two, 23, for Christ's sake, by-elections today. Why are we still having conversations of impeachments that took place? That means up to date, we are still bitter. That means up to date, we are still agitated. It still means that we are still angry and all that. People have moved on. We are at a conversation of these particular by-elections, and there is simply nothing. And when you talk about that, the ODM issue, that the current acting party leader, that is our colleague, Senator Buru, has said, you know, there's nothing less we're going to take if it is not this. And ODM is entitled to, as a party, it's an independent party, it's entitled to have their conversations, to have their terms, and there is nothing wrong. They're having conversations. They actually said during the Mombasa, what we saw in Mombasa, they said, you know what, we also, some of them, not all of them, of course, some are saying we are going to field a presidential candidate. Some are saying, no, we are still going to be in this broad base. That is their house. They're having some bit of push and pull, but we are confident that eventually, of course, they will agree. So trying to use that narrative and say, actually, I am very sure, I am 100% sure. When you two says, I am 100% sure that Professor will not be the deputy candidate for UDA for broad-based come 2027, who is he? Is he Dr. William Ruto? Or is he the spokesman or speaking on his behalf, for Christ's sake? Okay. If we are here in terms of the conversation of Mbeere North, can we talk about these candidates? Are they viable or they are not viable? Where is William Ruto coming in?
Zachariah, even as you comment on the position of Deputy President and whether or not Kindiki could survive still in that position come 2027. There's also the other effect and the other consequence of these by-elections is that with what has happened to ODM in the last few months, there are places which are now considered battle zones that have opened up into battlegrounds. Previously, they were predominantly ODM, a place like the coastal region, a place like Western Kenya, and curiously, there are by-elections being held there. Right. Do you feel that this by-elections next week and the results that come after that could open up that debate further? That if at all UDA wins in Malava there, and Western Kenya becomes a proper battle zone. And if at all the other side, probably DCP takes it in Magarini, it opens up the coast region as a proper battleground.
In fact, before I go to that, let me clarify something. If the reason why we've had that low-profile campaign in Western Kenya is because if you look at UDA, they've had differences. That's why if you look at all senior loyal leaders, they've kept off Malava. Moses Wetangula has kept off Malava. Musalia Mudavadi has kept off Malava. If you look at Oparanya, has kept off Malava. If you look at the governor, Fernandez Barasa has kept off Malava. The reason being, they wanted to lead the campaign. But Farouk Kibet said he's the one to lead the campaign. Now they have said, you lead the campaign. Should you fail, don't blame us. That's why if you look for the last, whatever, you've not seen any senior loyal leaders, even MPs, they have not come out. They have all kept off because of the differences in the campaign strategy. The reason being, Farouk Kibet wanted to load over these other loyal leaders. But they're saying, look, Western Kenya is meant for lawyers. Let us lead the campaign. He said, no, you do your work, let me do my work. So should UDA lose the Western Kenya, loyal leader will say, no, we are not involved. Blame it on Farouk Kibet. And that's the strategy they're using. Now, when it comes to ODM, I was saying, look, Raila was ODM and ODM was Raila. Without Raila, ODM is not there. So if you look at all ODM strongholds are going to become battlefields. They are going to become they're free for any other party to take over. There's no way ODM will remain. And I've said, look at the history of all political parties. Wherever party leader goes, the party goes down. Right now, look at the infighting. Just a month, and they are fighting all over. They are saying, oh, we are going to broad-based government. Others say, we are not going to go into broad-based government. Even if you look at the seat in Nyanza, which was automatic, it's now not automatic. So to me, any seat that was being held by Raila Amolo Odinga, any area that was being controlled by Raila Amolo Odinga is now a battleground. Anyone can control it. Yeah.
Even if UDA wins, they would probably argue that it's still within the broad-based arrangement. Therefore, it's not a battleground.
You see, even if UDA wins, they may say that, but look at the ground. Raila was the unifying factor. He's no longer there. Come 2027, things will be different. Everyone will go his own way. For example, I can tell you, in Nairobi here, Raila used to control so many constituencies, but in 2027, he may not be able to control it. Two, it's not automatic that those people who used to vote for Raila are going to vote for UDA. Like now, if you look at, for example, in Western Kenya, Luyas are coming together under Natembea, under Tayo movement. So all those Luyas in Nairobi who used to vote for Raila, who were in ODM, they're now moving to Tayo movement. We know other voters are going to move to some other areas. So it's not automatic that if you today you quote ODM, then all the support that was there is going to be your support. Even look at Luo Nyanza. Now we have two divisions, one being led by Wanga, Oburu Odinga, and the other faction being led by Winnie, Orengo, and the rest. So even if you look at Luo Nyanza, we are going to have a big division. People will be elected in different parties depending on how you view things. Yeah.
All right, Senator Nyoto, we can see that in DCP, in Magarini, the candidate is a DCP candidate for the United Opposition. Yes. The party leader has chosen not to venture there, instead sending the Wiper party leader for the campaigns there and focusing more on the campaigns in Mbeere North, where there's a DP candidate. What does that say for a new party that is sought to weigh itself ahead of the 2027 elections?
Thank you, Fred, and allow me to, before I come to that, to just comment on one or two things that my friend and colleague, Senator Tabitha, has said. Said that you cannot speak of another man's bedroom. And so I cannot say that Kithure Kindiki won't be a running mate of Ruto in 2027. Sometimes we don't have actually to get to that bedroom to know what is happening. If the wife is already sleeping at the neighbor's house, we don't have to get to that bedroom to know that that the husband and the wife have differed. I mean, it's a matter of common sense, and you know. So she says that how can I say that Kindiki will not be running mate in 2027, and I'm not William Ruto, and it's true I'm not William Ruto, and I'm not in his heart, but again it's just a matter of analysis, and that's why we come here to just analyze politics, and you can be able to add one to one and know that definitely is two. You don't have to physically get something, one piece of stick, like, you know, kids in preschool, and another one, and then approve. I mean, you just analyze and you know that 1 + 1 is 2. After, of course, you have attended several numeracy classes. So it's just a matter of analysis that President Ruto will want to try his luck by getting somebody from maybe a place that he knows somebody can be able to deliver some support for him. Because for Mount Kenya, there is no support for William Ruto. And that's why you don't need actually to be a professor of politics or anything, or a very smart analyst to know that he will not pick Professor Kindiki. So it was important that we say that. And for my brother Baraza, he says that Weta, Musalia, Governor Baraza or Paranya have left the ground in Malava because, of course, Farouk Kibet wants to lord it over all of them. And that is partly true, that, you know, Farouk, although his position is exactly not known, but wants to lord it over politicians, even when they visit your county. Because, of course, when we were friends with William Ruto, every time William Ruto came to Murang'a, I would see how Farouk wanted to kupanga us. And of course, these leaders may not be very comfortable with that. But I also think there is another reason that my brother may not have wanted to talk about. They also know that UDA is losing Malava, and they do not want, so they want to be like a way to blame Farouk for the loss. But they are smart people. They have listened to the ground. They know that Malava is going. They know that Dakwa is not getting anywhere. They know that Seth Panyako is winning that seat. And so they do, you know, they say, and it has been said very many days, that success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. So Malava is becoming an orphan for UDA supporters. And that's why they are keeping off. I mean, and so now to answer your question, why my party leader, Rigathi Gachagua, is concentrating on Mbere, not Magarini, I think there is what we call division of labor, Fred, that you of course have more than one job to do, and you are quite a number, so you, of course, you sit down. I want to imagine, you know, I don't want to talk for, I'm not in that level of principles, but I want to believe that the principals sat down and decided, because we have Malava, we have Mbere North, we have Magarini, and we must win in these three constituencies. Then we need to divide labor amongst ourselves. So maybe they chose, or they just decided, maybe the Wiper party leader, His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka, decided that he thought he would be, he would be more comfortable maybe dealing with Magarini. Of course, you know that we have deployed the deputy party leader, Cleophas Malala, to Malava, plus other people. So it's just a matter of division of labor. It's not a matter of which seat is more important than the other. All of them are important to us as united opposition.
DCP coming out of this contest without a single seat, wouldn't that impact negatively on a new party?
No, not exactly. Not exactly. You know, DCP is a very new party, and it's a very democratic party, and that's why we were willing and ready, and we accepted to withdraw our candidate in Malava in favor of DAP Kenya candidate. And so it's not exactly about DCP. It's about the united opposition. That is why even where my party leader is in Mbere North, he's not campaigning for a DCP candidate, he's campaigning for a DP candidate. Okay. So it's about the united opposition, it's not about DCP or DP. Right. So it's a united opposition, and that's why they have divided this labor or this particular assignment in the manner that they have.
Talking about the united opposition, they are there on the front page of the Daily Nation, Gachagua and Kalonzo, in a bid to change 2027 poll rules. So the coalition of opposition leaders has filed a high-stakes constitutional petition seeking to overhaul how presidential election votes are tallied and how results are transmitted and declared. The politicians also want the Electoral Commission to gazette all polling stations 6 months before the elections. So the proposals are there, 5 in total: gazette all polling stations 6 months before elections, publish and avail the voters' register 3 months before elections, prohibit IBC from retelling or altering presidential results, IEBC must reconcile all ballots at polling stations, including used, spoiled, and unused, before transmitting results. And IEBC to design a results transmission system where constituency declarations are final. And we would imagine that this is the situation. Why do we imagine that it is different? This is according to the law. This is what the law provides, that for example, that the results are announced at the polling station are final. What exactly is this about?
You see, this is what's supposed to be done, but I think we've not had that clarity. The reason being, like polling centers, you discover that we have so many fake polling centers which have been coming up. Now, what the opposition wants is that they want us to have a clear polling center, so that you know, on this date, this is where I'm going to vote for. Two, when it comes to result transmission, you've seen between Bungoma and Nairobi, results always end up being changed along the way. And this is what has been causing all these problems. That's why you've seen opposition leaders saying, you have lost an election, my election has been stolen. So you see, what the opposition wants is clarity, so that anyone can know exactly what's going to happen. So to me, I totally agree with what they're pushing, so that in 2027, we should not have a problem whereby someone says, oh, my election was stolen, my election was manipulated. We don't want to have a situation whereby, like you saw what happened. You being the chairman of the IEBC, after announcement of the election, you are not even able to walk around. They believe that certain things had been done. But you know what they're saying? Look, let's have the transparency. Let the results be announced at the polling center. That should be final. But you see, if you look at those from, was it from whatever, what is there and what has been brought at Bomas, they used to be different. And they were saying whatever is being announced at Bomas should be the final.
It was never proven that anything was different between a polling station and whatever was at Bomas.
No, it was, what happened is that they were never filed in court in good time, but they were there. Between me and you, they were there. But legally, they were not filed in good time. So what you are saying, let's remove those doubts, because so that it's a transparent where everyone trusts the system. This one is just to add the trust, so that whatever is happening, people should have the trust in the system.
Okay. Senator Mutinda, we've seen, and this has become a trend, that before any general election, just a few months before that, then Parliament is forced to go through the electoral laws and change a few things, adjust a lot of things because of the mistrust of the IEBC. Are we splitting hairs here, talking about things that ideally are already provided for, but it would appear people feel like it doesn't happen?
Let me touch on quickly two things as I come to the issue of the IEBC and from what Baraza mentioned in terms of the issue of the ODM. From my view is that actually ODM is currently divided into four. Four in the sense that there is the team that is young and confident, that is saying, you know what, we do not want broad-based. We want that relation to end in 2077, and that's it. But there's another factor of the young people. That is the factor led by Babu and Sifuna, the likes. There's the other factor that is led by the likes of Senator Eddie, the likes of Winnie, that are saying, you know what, we don't have a problem with broad-based as it is. It's okay, it's fine. We just need a few changes here and there. Then there's the other factor for the old that say, we're still in broad-based. Of course, they're already in government, they're already in the CSS position. And there's the Orengo factor that says, you know what, there's no relation. What am I trying to say? In a nutshell, I'm just trying to say now, things are changing. There is an energy that is just coming about for the old and the young. And you can attest that in this parliament, actually, the percentage for the young generation really came about. Look at my brother's age here. Look at where I sit. I mean, there is a lot of energy and vibrancy. And that is the new change that is in place. Just quickly on your good question that you really asked on Magarini, you asked, you have a DCP candidate. How comes your party leader is not in Magarini? He's in Mbeere North, where he doesn't have a candidate. The candidate from Mbeere North is under the DP opposition Muturi's party. Is it not really a concern? A very perfect and valid concern. Anybody smart would be able to note and be able to ask. And it's a question, of course, and it narrows to the answer of that. Then, is this kingpin really true? Because if I'm confident that I am the king, then I should not be worried. You know, I should send even my foot soldiers and let them do their thing. But I have to be there because I have to prove that I'm the one, because, you know, still the strings are not really, the foundation is still not strong. And so that's the basic reason. That's why is actually not there, but is on this side, try to prove that, you know, I am the one. But yes, I agree on the point that there's always shared responsibility. We have over 23 by-elections that are going on. You have to distribute yourself so that you are able to balance here and there and all that. Now narrowing it to the issue of the IEBC, you know, it's not that there are changes that come here and about. Every candidate, okay, their wish and their goal is to have a win. And when we have these issues of IEBC in place, the concerns that every polling station should be registered, I mean, it's not even an opposition push. It's everybody. It's every candidate's push because you want to have a win. You could be in the government's party, but it doesn't guarantee a win. You could be in the opposition party. It doesn't guarantee a win. It's the people who decide. So when it comes to streamlining any loopholes within IEBC, it's something that any leader, any candidate, any potential candidate looking forward to be vying in any particular position agrees to. It's not about it's being done by this side or it's being done by the opposition. The end goal of any candidate is definitely a win. Any candidate, any member would want that everything is in place, and that's why it needs to start early. If there are loopholes, if there are polling stations that have not been gazetted and listed, I will also advocate for the same. Why have you not listed this? Because I need this polling station, which is near to my people. It is okay. It's an okay conversation. Sometimes I don't know why we want to look at things then there's a problem, then they are planning something, then they wanted to do this. So that's where the opposition is coming and saying this.
Of this petition we're probing, that how necessary is it when all these things, if you look at the 5 proposals, appear that they've already been provided for by the laws that we have. I don't see anything new here. So what is the issue? Is it the mistrust or is there a legal loophole? Because, and that's why I was asking, is it another chance or is it another instance where we're going to see a lot of debate on electoral laws to adjust here and there before the elections?
Fred, as you say it correctly, everything is in place, everything is correct, everything is intact, okay? Yes, there is always a worry of any candidate who's feeling a bit weak, and of course mostly the opposition who feeling that, you know, the government might try to manipulate this or that. They try to bring conversations that will taint the government in a way that they want to do something shoddy so that they can be able to manipulate this and that. But everything is in place. But for example, when it comes to gazettement of any polling station that have not been gazetted, I would agree, can they ensure that all polling stations are? There's no problem with that, because ideally even the opposition will be voting from there. There's no problem. Yes. But as we speak right now, everything is in place, everything is in order. But because of the worries that the opposition have, because of the lack of confidence that they have with their candidates probably, or with their strategies they have in place, they will try to portray a narrative that there's a problem with IEBC, so that in case they are not able to succeed, they use that as a default.
We have 2 minutes before we take a break, and I want to give you, Senator, an opportunity to comment on this, because it would appear, our twist splitting hairs. What is the necessity of this constitutional petition? Is there an existing loophole that they are seeking to plug?
Yes, there is an existing loophole, and a gaping one for that matter, Fred. We all know, those who have witnessed the last 3 or 4 presidential elections, because the problem that we have been having in this country has always been about presidential elections, and it has always been bombers. So particularly number 3, that IEBC should be prohibited from retallying or altering presidential results at the National Tallying Center after constitutional declarations, for me is an important one. Because what is this that is done, by the way, at Bomas? What is this tallying done at Bomas? Is it to tell us that we cannot be able to, anybody actually, you just need a calculator at home? I mean, let Malava constituency announce the presidential results in Malava. Let Madhyoya constituency in Muranga, for example, announce the presidential elections the presidential election results in Madhyoya. And that should be it. It is not very hard to add we only have 290 constituencies. Anybody can be able to calculate the presidential votes, presidential results from the comfort of their bedroom. And we will avoid these problems that we have been having at Bomas. Let constituencies announce the results. Let's actually even do away with the National Tallying Center, because that is where the problem is. Let us conclude the election results at the constituency level, and that's it. So that, Fred, from the comfort of your bedroom, when you get to gather these, you just add and know how many votes each got, and even before the IEBC chairperson announces the results, you already know who has how many number of votes.
So the outcome of this is to do away with that process at Bomas completely?
For me, I would say that we should do away with it completely, because it's not necessary. Right. And that is where doctoring happens. And that is where most of the petitions, presidential petitions, actually mostly are about what happens at the National Tallying Center at Bomas. So that for me is very important. The other one that is very important is publishing. Number 2. Publishing and availing the final voters register 3 months before elections. Because Fred, we have had occasion to witness the late Honorable Prime Minister missing his name at his polling station in Kibra one time. This is something, because remember that election rigging is a process, it's not an event. So sometimes, and by the way, it's a very important question, because there are those claims that there are fears that some names could be moved from their polling stations to other stations. If you move my name, for example, from Muranga, and you take it to a place like Mandera, and I get to know about it on the voting day, of course my vote gets lost because I will not be able to travel to Mandera. So this is a very important matter that should not just be trivialized and brushed aside. We need to be sure that elections are going to be free and fair. And when Senator Tabitha says that the opposition is saying this because they are not confident, no, we are saying we want transparency, because you cannot trust President Ruto with anything.
Thank you, Senator. Let's take a break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. You're watching Morning Cafe.
No more excuses. It's time to rise, grind, and own your mornings. Join Coach Shadrach Ouma every Monday to Friday from 5:30 to 6 a.m. only on TV 47. Full body workouts, zero equipment, maximum results. Start strong, stay strong. TV 47 Fitness with Coach Shadrach, only on TV 47. Looking for the perfect way to kick off your weekend?
Pole. Hiyo ni salamu ya Mluya kabisa.
Tune in to Friday with Betty, the most exciting show on TV.
Betty, one tear gas. Betty, I don't know where this guy's going.
From the latest news and trends to unforgettable moments.
Wewe ni simpa.
Friday with Betty is your go-to show for a fabulous Friday night.
Theological, meteorologist, what is that word, Willis?
Tune in this and every Friday at 9 p.m. and let's make your Fridays unforgettable. Only on TV 47. Enjoy uninterrupted live streaming of your favorite programs on TV 47 and Radio 47 on the go with our new mobile-friendly website. Experience the future of broadcasting. Visit www.tv47.digital or scan this QR code and stream your way to endless news and entertainment. Welcome to the home of untold stories.
This is Kenya's #1 talk show, Dr. Farika tonight. My name is the Eagle himself. Dr. Farika is my name.
We are flipping the script, but guess what? Or should I say, guess who is taking over tonight's show?
Anyway, furahia umekaa na kasukuru. CP unit ni Punet. Ni Punet. Punet. So you guys knew about Piga. Sawa basi. I say man, that don't give you the whole time.
I don't want to go back to brokenness.
Never.
I just love the high life. Siwezi taka kuimagine ati nimesota.
You'll have to watch to find out. Tune in every Wednesday from 7:30 p.m.
Next time you need fresh lemon juice, microwave a lemon for 7 to 10 seconds. Then, roll the lemon back and forth under your palm on the counter. When you squeeze, you'll get more juice from the lemon with way less effort.
Welcome back. You're still watching Morning Cafe, and just before we took a break, I thought we were in agreement about these laws and the necessity to change some of the provisions of our elections to actually make the process smoother. But during the break, I realized that probably we are not in agreement. What is the issue here? Senator Nyoto suggests that we do away with the Bomas, whatever happens at Bomas of Kenya during as far as presidential elections are concerned. Do you agree that even the perception that once the constituency announces the results from all polling stations there, that is final, and there's no necessity for another installation of a Bomas, whatever it is?
We need to understand why Bomas is there, why we have the chair of the IEBC. He's not sitting in all the 290 constituencies. He's in Bomas. Doing what? The results that have been achieved at the constituency level should be transferred to the, at the national level, so that he can collectively be able to sum up all the results of the presidential candidate. He's there waiting now to be able to announce, because the law allows him to announce the presidential candidate after he has collectively received all the results that have been transferred from the constituency A, B, C, and D to Bomas of Kenya, so that now he's able to announce that candidate A has been able to get this, candidate B this, and so the winner is candidate so and so. That is his mandate.
That perception has persisted for a while now, and as I mentioned it,
I like it when you say...
Many people say that that transmission of results from the constituency to the Bomas Sterling Center...
Who is having the perception, Fred? Good questions. The one who's having the perception is because if you are the loser, definitely you'll try and cake it in such a way that, it is because of this and this happened. We are on the same page on this platform today saying that the final results are at the constituency level. That is true. Actually, at the polling, this is final, and then they are transferred, and at this constituency, these are the final results. They have to be tallied at a national level at Bomas of Kenya. There's nothing wrong with that. Looking at the question that you asked earlier, Fred, you asked, why is it that when we are nearing these elections and all, sometimes we do amendments in the law? Point number 2 talks about the register should be available 3 months before. Is there a problem with that? There's no problem with that. I would want to ensure that the register is on point. Newt would also want to ensure such that when he looks at his people in Murang'a, even himself and his supporters, he ensures that we are all in this, everything is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Even if it would come even 4 months before, it is a plus to any candidate. There's nothing wrong with that. But all these things, as we speak today, they are within the law. Everything is fine. I think the issue, and you look at the newspaper today as you read it correctly, Gachagua-Kalonzo in bid to change and all that. Why them? Why the two of them? These are people, these are leaders in the opposition currently as we speak. So what is being portrayed is like there's something that is shoddy trying to happen. There's no shoddy in ensuring that 3 months before the elections, we have the register in place. 6 months before the elections, all the polling stations have been gazetted. There's nothing wrong with that. That is the law, and that is the requirement.
To agree with all that. I think the most interesting one is number 3, the one of doing away with Bomas of Kenya, the process that is there. It is the same debate that the late Raila Odinga always had. Open the servers.
Yeah, right. Right. In fact, let me just clarify something. Gachagua and Kalonzo are Kenyans. They have every right to go to court. So you cannot start saying, look, why is it Gachagua and who have gone to court? They have a right. They are Kenyans, like another person. So whatever they are raising is an issue that affects all the Kenyans. Now, let me go back. The biggest problem we've had is Bomas of Kenya. You remember at one time the elections were nullified. Why? Because of Bomas. You remember even last election, several commissioners, about more than a half, did not agree with what the chairman was doing. They didn't even to move out. Why? It's because there's a lot of manipulation at Bomas of Kenya. It's a known fact. So if we want to cure this manipulation, let the presidential results be announced at the constituency level, so that we know in this constituency, this is what you've got. You remember even last election, the media, you are doing the tallying, but what happened? You are stopped. Why were you stopped? If there's that transparency. The reason why, they knew that you are going to announce certain results, which may not be the same as what is being announced at Bomas. So the biggest problem we have in Kenya is Bomas of Kenya, where the results are being announced. And that's why look at all the elections that we've had presidential. There's no single day we've not had that problem because of Bomas. So how do you cure this? How can we avoid this? It's very simple. If you are talking about transparency, let them be announced at the polling side, which is okay. 2, if you look at whatever is being raised by Gachagua, all these things are there, but they don't have the time frame. That's why they're saying, look, let the polling centers be announced, be gazetted within a specific period. Because we've seen so many fake polling centers, you've seen them being, even schools, we've seen so many schools that are not there, but they always get capitation and interview. We've seen so many polling centers that are not gazetted. But you see, there was no time frame for that. IBC will say, we have the powers to gazette them, to allow them to. But if you have a time frame, we'll only know that during this, in this constituency, these are the polling centers. In this ward, these are the polling centers. And they must be within. So anything outside that time frame will not be allowed. So I totally agree with what they're raising, because we want clarity. 2, this is not about the government, it's about IBC. So I don't know why the government is feeling much uncomfortable with this. We are not talking about the government, we are talking about IBC. So let's focus on IBC.
Yes, Gachagua and Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules is a big headline on the front page of the Daily Nation. There are 5 proposals there. You can go ahead and read on pages 4 and 5 of this paper. Tomorrow is another big day in Parliament. President William Ruto is expected to give his State of the Nation address. He has already given an indication of part of his agenda, at least. He says that he'll use the opportunity to try and convince members of Parliament. Remember, it will be a joint sitting of the Senate and the National Assembly to enact laws to allow for the establishment of an infrastructure fund. And the question is how it's going to be funded. He said, do not worry about that. He knows how to do it. But Senator Nyoto, State of the Nation address is supposed to be something totally different, not for the president to come and push his legislative agenda. What are your expectations ahead of this event tomorrow?
Well, Fred, let me first of all say that I'll not be attending that particular state of address by the president, because I know that over 95% of what he's going to say there are things that he does not even mean.
Don't you think you will be misrepresenting the people of Murang'a if you fail to attend?
I mean, no. I mean, sometimes you choose to just have your peace. You know, Fred, if I know that you are coming to lie to me, I mean, why would I spend my time listening to your lies? I think I would better spend my time doing something more important for me. Because remember, this is not going to be his first State of the Nation address since he became president. I think you will just need to ask yourself, the things that he has said in the past State of the Nation addresses that he has made, how many of them has he, you know, made commitment to or even started doing? And so, but to answer your question, you say why it's supposed to be something totally different, but he's coming to push his legislative agenda. But of course, that is characteristic of President Ruto. He wants to convert anything, any platform, into a campaign platform for himself, while saying others are campaigning. I mean, so, I wouldn't have expected him to just come and give a State of the Nation address without doing some politics and pushing some legislative agenda. And so for me, I think it's just another formality to come there, say things that he does not even believe in himself, things that he has no intention whatsoever of doing. And because it's a formality, at the end of the day, there'll be members there, of course, maybe motivated in a particular way to clap for him, to say Igwe, like they did last time when he said that he was finally cancelling what do you call it? The
finance
bill. Not finance bill. The whatever at the airport. I forget this name.
Adani.
The Adani. Regardless of the fact that they had always supported it, now when he cancelled it, they stood and said Igwe. So you don't expect anything there. You just expect some people there, some members of parliament, from the two houses, to just heap praises on him after having said nothing other than lies. So I will not be attending. I think I have better things to do with my time.
Okay. Senator Mutinda, State of the Nation address.
Correct. We've always had States of the Nation address by the President, and yes, he's spoken and hinted in terms of how we'd want to have a conversation with the representatives of the people. It was not his indecision in State House even says that, you know what, I need this done now. He's coming to have a conversation. That is leadership, Fred. Dialogue, let us talk. I'm envisioning this. We need to improve in terms of infrastructure. We need to invest in infrastructure, both digital infrastructure, both roads, machineries, and things like that in this country for us to be able to elevate economically our country. Is that not a presidential conversation? He's a Kenyan. I had Baraza when I said the Gachagua-Kalonzo, he corrected and says, these are also Kenyans, there's no problem. President William Ruto is a Kenyan, okay? He is the president, he's a leader. There's nothing wrong with him also proposing that can we be able to have this bill so that we can be able to achieve A, B, C, and D. There's nothing wrong. Mm-hmm. Secondly, when a leader elected by his own people to represent them says that, you know what, I can't go and listen to this president who's equally elected like him. He was elected like him. They were both elected to represent. And he says, you know, I won't be able to listen to this leader. Listening is a virtue. And it requires just a mature leadership whereby you just listen, and if you have a different opinion, then you air a different opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. There's nothing wrong. But already having perceptions, then you mislead your people because you already say, you know what, he's coming to say a lie. If, for example, he would be coming to tell us, you know what, I'll be looking forward to work with my brother, Rigathi Gachagua, come 2027. What would be wrong with that? It's just an example I'm just giving. But it is really sad for having been given an opportunity and then you opt not to really represent your people because you don't want to. Earlier I had my brother say, just hold on it, that, you know, my party leader is Rigathi Gachagua. Today, he's in that seat because he's elected under the party leader of William Ruto under UDA. So why then don't you resign if you don't want to listen to lies? If you're a different political party leader, why don't you bold out and say, you know, I'm resigning from this party that is led by a liar. I'm resigning from this party that I don't trust this leader. I'm resigning from this party today because I don't want to be associated with this party. How are you still married to this man and you're saying this man is not the right man for me? Bold up and make a decision.
Article 132 of the Constitution provides for the roles of the president, and part 1 of that is on this State of the Nation address and what exactly it's supposed to be. So allow me to read it. So the president shall, A, address the opening of each newly elected parliament, that one is done. B, address a special sitting of parliament once every year, and this is a State of the Nation address we're talking about, and may address parliament at any other time. And once every year during this, 1, report in an address to the nation on all the measures taken and the progress achieved in the realization of the national values referred to in Article 10. 2, publish in the Gazette the details of the measures and progress under subparagraph 1, what I've just read, and submit a report for debate to the National Assembly on the progress made in fulfilling the international obligations of the Republic. Now, it's that understanding of the provisions and the necessity of the State of the Nation and the President's own intention that is going there to talk to MPs, to enact a law, to establish an infrastructure fund. Do you get the misalignment?
No, you see, the drafters of the Constitution had a very good intention for the president. Unfortunately, the perception that has been created by the president himself, people don't trust what he's going to say. People don't trust MPs. Look at all the bills that have been passed. Look at, for example, even the finance bill. Wananchi said no, but what did they do? They ended up passing it. People believe the MPs are there to protect the interests of the executive, not the interest of the common Wananchi. People believe that whatever the president is going to say, he may not be able to deliver. That's the only problem. Now, what he needs to work on is perception. Nobody trusts what he's going to say. Nobody trusts that he's going to deliver. So if you look at whatever his campaign manifesto and what he promised common Mwananchi is not what he has done. So the biggest problem right now is not what he's going to say, is do people trust what he's going to say? Do people trust that it's going to deliver?
But don't you think that this State of the Nation address has been converted into a platform for the president to give his scorecard almost in a campaign manner and not really deliver a State of the Nation address?
You see, like as a president, he should be uniting people. He should be the one bringing it together. But now look, some of the, like my friend here, he may not be able to attend to the function. Why? Because that division. So we should work on a way, how do we reconcile? He should be using a good, like you remember when he was in Machakos, the language he used, that look, whatever, those are not presidential languages. So the biggest problem the president has is not even delivering, is the perception he has created among Kenyans. 2, the MPs. Most voters don't trust MPs. They believe they are there to push the interests of the executive, not the interests of common Mwananchi. So that is the biggest problem. That's why my friend here may struggle to explain, may struggle to convince people. She has a good intention, but the problem is, what is the perception of the Kenyans? How do Kenyans perceive the president? You remember, he used to say, ikifika gas itakuwa ni pesa ngapi, itakuwa ni pesa fulani. He used to walk around and give promises, but he was not able to deliver. So they don't trust him. That's the biggest problem. So what I could ask my friend and the president is to work on perception. How do they create the confidence so that people can have the confidence whatever they're going to do? So that people can get excited that, look, tomorrow we are going to have State of the Nation address. We are excited. We want to listen. What is he going to say that can affect us? But you see, most people will not even be concerned. They'll be going around with their own business. So the biggest problem the State House has to work on is perception. How do they create the confidence in a common man? People can have confidence in the presidency.
Allow me to give each one of you 2 minutes for your final comments. You're not attending the State of the Nation address, yes. But on the other issues that we've discussed, what are your final comments, Senator?
Finally, I think I would want to say, Fred, that the issue of, finishing presidential elections at the constituency level are very important, and that so that we don't have to have bombers. I mean, a big hall with so many people, just to add the 290 figures, 290, the figures from the 290 constituencies. That is something that the ABC chairman can do from his office at, I believe, at Anniversary Towers, and just come announce what we already know. So I think that for me is very important, and that this thing of publishing the names of the on the register 3 months before is also something very important. But allow me to say that Senator Tabitha says that it's mature leadership to listen to people even when you don't agree with them. I'm not sure that mature was the right one to say, to use, but it's okay. Says that, when you are elected by people to go and represent them, then that is very unfortunate that you don't represent your people by listening to the president. I want to tell Senator Tabitha, in case she didn't know, the people of Murang'a, whom I represent, do not want to listen to President Ruto. So if I went there listening to him, I will not be representing them. In fact, my failure to attend that particular sitting will be the best representation of the people of Murang'a that there can be, because the people of Murang'a do not want to listen to any lies from President Ruto. They have had enough of his lies. And so, I would not be representing them if I went there. Then she has repeated something. I wanted to avoid it, but she has repeated it a second time. That why don't I resign from UDA if I think I don't agree with the president? I think Senator Tabitha forgets something very basic. That the President Ruto is not UDA. He is a UDA leader. I have not agreed, I have not differed with UDA per se. I've differed with the party leader. The party leader is not the party. A party is owned by members. I am a member of UDA. If I differ with the party leader, you cannot tell me to resign from that party. And finally, President Ruto, whom she supports, differed with the President Uhuru Kenyatta in 2018. And everybody was telling him to resign, especially as deputy president, if he was not agreeing with it, not even from the party, if he was not in agreement with the president, because they were in the presidency together. He did not resign. Why would Senator Tabitha, or President Ruto for that matter, whom she represents here, expect me to resign? I want to tell you, Senator Tabitha, Gogi Wadiongo wrote, I will marry when I want. Okay. And I want to tell you, I will resign from UDA when I want. Another singer from my community said, I will marry when I want. After all, the Catholic priest has always lived without a wife. Senator Tabitha, I will marry when I want. Okay. I will leave UDA when I want.
He will marry when he wants.
Yes.
Senator Mutinda, final comments. 2 minutes only.
But he's, I think he's married, which is
I'm just using his words.
Course, which is a good thing. Everyone is entitled to their decisions, but it's always good that to always remember that our first role is that we represent the people. It is people's representative. We are people's representatives. My parting shot this morning would really to encourage the young people to do voter registration. The numbers are quite very low. They are not really coming out to register as voters. It's not something to really ignore. It's really a concern, and I want to really encourage them to do the needful. Lastly, Fred, I would want to really urge the Mbeere North constituents to look at Leonard Muriuki, the candidate of UDA, from a leadership perspective. These other narratives that are coming from right, left, and center and all that, for them to just know, those narratives should not confuse them. Let them know that this is the candidate, this is the leader that is supposed to represent them after 27th of this month. And so I really humbly ask them to support and vote for Leonard Muriuki. Let Kenyans also look forward to listening to what the president will be saying. I'm sure he'll be talking about what he has been able to achieve. We were with him last week, the whole of last week, in the eastern region, Ukambani. Remember, apart from representing Nairobi, I come from Kitui region, and President, as we wrapped it up on Saturday at Kitui State Lodge, it took actually an hour to go through and explain all the programs that he had promised in the manifesto. He was able to explain one by one, okay. And people were very, very happy. And they so want to encourage leaders from both sides to be able to just listen for the sake of ensuring that we forge a goal of delivering for this country, because we have no other home and Kenya is home.
Thank you, Senator. Finally, Zakaria Baraka.
Yes, mine is just to ask the voters and to ask the people of Kenya that, look, elections come and go. these elections should not be used to divide our people. After election, we must come together and work together. 2, I'm asking my Mlembe nation, the people of Western Kenya, that look, this November 27th election is a defining moment for our people, because like it will help us to move away from empty promises. If you look at what happened, they had promised 1,000 kilometers of roads in Bungoma, Kakamega and Busia. We had nothing. They promised that, look, once they get into office, they are going to buy a new machine for Zoe Sugar Company. They end up selling the company. So I'm asking the people of Bungoma, people of Kakamega, people of Busia, the Mlembe nation, to ensure that they vote in Seth Panyako so that he can be our firstborn for the Mlembe nation for the Tawi movement on 27th of November. So what I'm only saying is that after the election, let's all work together to unite our people. Right. After election, it should not be that since you voted for the opposition, now you have to be segregated, you have to be put aside. No, I'm asking Kenyans that after election, let's come together and build this country. Asante.
Thank you so much, Zakaria Baraza, political commentator, Senator Tabitha Mutinda, and Joe Nyoto, Senator Murang'a County. Karibuni sana, and thank you for your time at TV47 today. Once again, look at the big headlines of People Daily. Kenya 2027, power deals, rising tension, and the fight for key regions. The Standard, slave trade billions, and that's a story we did not get to talk about, how big companies and big political families are benefiting from this. Yes, Taifa Leo, mapenzi mtandaoni ni sumu, DCI imesema chunga sana. Business Daily, MPs order regulator to increase power prices. Did you imagine your MPs could do that? And then Daily Nation, Gachagua-Kalonzo in bid to change 2027 poll rules. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a State of the Nation on this 19th of November 2027. Incidentally, it is International Men's Day. To all the men out there, happy International Men's Day. My name is Freddie Ndimuli. Good morning.